Good evening. It's the last Saturday of the year 2018, and here we are right here on NEWS360 TV3, welcoming you to this edition. My name is Issa Moni.
And I am Portia Gabo. Coming up with the headlines.
NEWS360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxipade, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Calipo, and Nido Fortigro, your love, their future.
Chiefs and people of Gambaga lobbying for town to be made the capital of the Northeast region.
Now also coming up, Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan, a widow of the late Ayawaso West Wogon MP, wins NPP primaries to contest January 31 by-election.
In Mission, we explore the story of a 14-year-old Class 3 pupil in school due to a Good Samaritan.
On the foreign front, police in Egypt kill 40 militants in raids after roadside bomb attack on a tour bus in Giza. We have details coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
And let's begin with this one. One of the widows of the late Ayawaso West Wogon MP, Emmanuel Chemantie Jakon, has been elected by the New Patriotic Party as the parliamentary candidate for the January 31 by-election. Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan secured 441 votes to see off competition from other candidates.
670 delegates of the ruling New Patriotic Party (NPP) Saturday gathered at the Jaolu Junior High School to elect a candidate to contest the Ayawaso West Wogon parliamentary by-election. The five are Ya Jamra Bwaje, Ato Williams, Victoria Esnam Asa Ofei, Samuel Owusu Amankwa, and Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan. There was some confusion at the end of voting as 9 delegates who could not exercise their franchise were asked to vote even though polling had officially ended. Counting then started. At the end of the exercise, a widow of the late MP Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan secured 441 votes to represent the NPP in the January 31 by-election.
I present to you the parliamentary candidate-elect for the New Patriotic Party in the Ayawaso West constituency. Thank you.
Ya Jamira Abuaji polled 76 votes, Atta Williams 131 votes, whilst Victoria Esnam Asa Ofei polled 1 vote. Samuel Owusu Amankwa polled 19 votes. In all, a total of 670 votes were cast, with 668 valid votes and 2 rejected ballots. Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan was hopeful of retaining the seat for the NPP.
We are in this together. We are all doing this together. The campaign begins from today. Let us all put ourselves together and go out there and face the Lali Brimpong. We've done it before, we can do it again. We are retaining this seat together.
National organizer of the NPP, Samia Oku, called for unity to ensure the NDC candidate who lost to the late MP and has been re-elected to represent the NDC is soundly defeated.
Let's all of us congratulate ourselves. We've done a good job today, and let's go out there as a team and make sure the NPP brand is stronger on 31st of January 2019.
Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan will battle it out with the opposition National Democratic Congress's Delali Kwesi Brimpong. Emmanuel Ejakun died on November 21.
In other news, the chiefs and people of Gambaga, spearheaded by the Youth Association, are lobbying government to make Gambaga the capital of Northeast region. Well, this comes after the overlord of Mamprugu, Nayiri Mahama Sheriga, requested for the capital to be in Nalerigu a day after the December 27 referendum. A report by Tanko Mohammed Rabiu.
The people of Northeast region on Thursday overwhelmingly voted yes for the creation of Northeast region at the just ended referendum. The people of Northeast for the past 3 decades have always wanted to have their own region due to lack of development. Days after the historic referendum, the issue of where to site the capital has emerged. The overlord of Mamprugu, Mahama Bohugu Sheriga, was the first to request the siting of the regional capital in Nalerigu. But the youth of Gambaga, also in the East Mamprusi municipality, are also demanding for the capital to be in Gambaga. The youth, chiefs, municipal chief executive, assembly members and opinion leaders in Gambaga met to discuss the way forward for the new region and to demand the siting of the capital in Gambaga. Gambaga used to be the regional capital of the Northern Territories during the colonial rule. Abdel Rahman Osman is the chairman of the Gambaga Youth Association.
I want to assure people who have that perception that the Northeast has no infrastructure. I want to tell you that if the government chooses Gambaga today to kickstart administration of Northeast region, inshallah we are going to prepare it. Yes. And there is nothing to put us against.
Leaders from other groups who spoke off camera expressed high hopes of a better future for the new region. TV3 News will bring you more updates from Northeast region as far as post-referendum activities unfold.
Let's go on the phone line and speak with local governance expert George Che Bafuo. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us. Mr. Bafuo, good evening. Well, we're trying very hard to get through to George Che Bafuo on this development. Let me try again. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us. You're still watching News 360 from the News Hub.
All right, as soon as we establish contact with George, we will get on with that interview. Portia is still waiting. President Akufo-Addo has congratulated voters in the 6 new proposed regions soon to be created for the dignified, peaceful manner in which they exercise their franchise and constitutional right. The proposed regions include Ahafo, Bono East, Northeast, Uti, Savannah, and Western North.
In a statement, the president also thanked members of the Brobe Commission led by the noted jurist Justice S.A. Brobe for the thorough and painstaking work the commission did, which resulted in the recommendations that received overwhelmingly popular endorsement. On Thursday, December 27, 2018, Ghanaians in some affected part of the country turned out in their numbers to give virtually unanimous assent to the reorganization of the nation's regional governance structure. This is the first time in a constitutional era that regions are being created under constitutional provisions. The president also commended the new leadership of the Electoral Commission for passing its first test by ensuring the holding of free, fair, and transparent referenda. President Akufo-Addo also applauded members of the security agencies and the media for their invaluable roles played towards the success of the exercise. The president concluded by wishing Ghanaians a happy and prosperous 2019.
Let's get back on the phone line and speak with our local governance expert, George Che Bafuo, on the creation of the new regions. And good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Portia, and thanks for having me.
Okay, first of all, what factors should be considered in making a location or a place the capital town of any of the new regions? We've seen lots of lobbying going on.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. If we look at the constitutional regime as provided for in Article 5, there's no clear-cut.
Unfortunately, we have lost George Che Bafuo on the phone line, but we'll try to get back to him. Let's continue with other news. And President Akufo-Addo says the building of a national cathedral is a pledge he made to God ahead of the 2016 elections, adding he's totally committed to ensuring that he fulfills his vows to God. The president did disclose this at the launch of a fundraising campaign for the construction of the project, during which he contributed 100,000 cedis.
President Akufo-Addo, in his address, indicated his wish for the building of the National Cathedral not to be a burden on the state.
That is why we are mobilizing the Christian community, home and abroad, to join us in partnership to raise the needed resources to build the cathedral. We seek to build this partnership on the rich history of the church's involvement in our nation's development, from agriculture, education, health, amongst others. The church has been a major contributor to our national life and a strong partner of the state, which has chosen for its part to donate the land and a modest seed fund for this development in the partnership.
As a sign of support for the coalition tasked to raise funds for the construction of the National Cathedral, President Akufo-Addo contributed a personal amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis towards the construction of the project.
I'm aware that there are some who do not share my views on this matter. I respect their right to differ, but I'm comforted in my decision by the vast numbers of enthusiastic supporters of this project, whose spiritual dimension is limitless.
Chairman of the fundraising committee and presiding Archbishop of the Christian Action Faith Ministries, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, said he interacted with the president at a personal level and left with conviction that the plan of the president was divine.
This National Cathedral is not about political expedience. And I don't know what the motives of others are, but my motive for being part of this is for God and country. That we will do something that shall cause our name to go down in history.
The National Cathedral is a planned interdenominational Christian cathedral scheduled to be built in Accra as part of Ghana's 60th anniversary celebrations. The design for the cathedral was unveiled by President Akufo-Addo in March 2018. The cathedral will have an auditorium capable of seating 5,000 expandable to 15,000, as well as the requisite chapels and a baptistry. The site will also house a music school, an art gallery, and a museum dedicated to the Bible.
And now the 37th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution will be held at the Shaiman Mandela Park on Monday, December 31, 2018. A statement from the planning committee of the event said leader of the revolution, Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings, and leading members of the revolution will be present to highlight the commemoration. The anniversary celebration will involve a parade, a wreath-laying ceremony, followed by the Durbar of Chiefs and People. Speakers at the Durbar will include presidential aspirant John Dramani Mahama, Alban Bagbin, Ekospi Gabra, Joshua Alabi, Sylvester Mensah, Guzi Tano, and Nuruddin Idrisu. Other speakers are Ambassador Dan Abudakpi, Akwesio Pomfusu, and Ruth Sedo. The theme for this year's celebration is deepening the core principles of good leadership for political governance.
Senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Lord Mensah, says the failure of Men's Gold should be blamed on government, regulatory bodies and individual investors. Speaking on the key points, Dr. Mensah urged government to start taxing interest on such investments.
In the views of the Chief Operations Officer of Dealers Finance, Joe Jackson, the Securities and Exchange Commission should not be blamed for the crisis facing Men's Gold.
This Men's Gold saga is very sad, and it's easy for us to sit here and talk about it in dispassionate terms. But there are real gut-wrenching stories at the back of people who have lost their money and their livelihoods. It is very, very sad because what has really happened is that people's gullibility, financial literacy, and worse, has been exploited, and they've given up sums of money that they had no business giving. And it should be a lesson to the Ghanaian public. I personally don't think that any of that money is going to come back. This institution was just asked to stop taking new money. They were never asked to close down. What did SEC say? Let's stop blaming SEC as if SEC shut Men's Goals down.
According to tax expert and lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Ibrahim Bedi, regulating and supervising bodies have failed in delivering on their mandate.
As a country, regulation and supervision is a bit poor. And so once the company started, even for a year, the level of rush in which people took their monies, even if you waited for a month or two, would have still resulted in this. So I think moving on, we should ensure that at the beginning of every venture, the regulator should be particularly a bit interested.
Meanwhile, senior lecturer at the University of Business Studies, Dr. Lord Mensah, is calling on government to tax interest accrued from such businesses to serve as a cushion should the businesses fail.
If the government was to tax interest rate, then you might think maybe part of your rate that you were supposed to enjoy has been taken and invested somewhere as in a form of insurance. Therefore, if you are in trouble, government can come in to rescue you. Secondly, we should understand that when Men's Gold was paying 10% a month, right, the market was paying, okay, on the average it's about, to 120% a year. But the banking sector was paying around 33%. Now you have, which is on the average, let's say 3%, you have extra 7% every month that you are enjoying. That extra month, in finance, we call it your risk premium. That is your reward for investing in what? Men's Gold, which you perceive to be risky. That is why you are enjoying that extra 7%.
On September 25, the Bank of Ghana supported the Securities and Exchange Commission to suspend gold trading firm Men's Gold Ghana Limited over regulatory infractions. Clients of Men's Gold have been agitating for the payment of their monies. On Monday, December 24, scores of customers of gold dealership firm Men's Gold Ghana besieged the Jowulu branch of the company demanding their locked-up investments. The gold dealership firm has petitioned Parliament to help resolve its regulatory issues with the Securities and Exchange Commission so it can pay all entitlements owed its clients. In a petition to Parliament's Finance Committee dated December 3 and signed by Corporate Manager Nanaya Ofe on behalf of the CEO, Men's Gold said it wants members of the committee to intervene in the standoff for the benefit of its customers. Men's Gold was ordered by the Securities and Exchange Commission to stop its gold vaults market operations in August over regulatory infractions. Since then, the company has been unable to pay its customers, said to be in the thousands.
And let's move away from Men's Gold. Another senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Seidu Alidu, has warned against building the office of the special prosecutor around the integrity of individuals. He spoke on the key points along with other panelists.
In the views of the Chief Operations Officer of Deles Finance, Joe Jackson, the Securities and Exchange Commission should not be blamed for the crisis facing Men's Gold.
This Men's Gold saga is very sad, and it's easy for us to sit here and talk about it in dispassionate terms, but there are real gut-wrenching stories at the back of people who have lost their money and their livelihoods. It is very, very sad because what has really happened is that people's gullibility.
You're watching News 360 live on TV3. We'll return shortly with Mission. Stay with us.
Hello again, it's now time for Mission, and this program is brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, UK Aid and the EU. Let's go to the Ashanti region where young Fatal was not in school. He used to roam about in Gariba, a village in the central district of the region, until a good Samaritan saw him and took him to school. Bright Nana Amfo tells the story of young Fatal, who is now in class 3 at age 14.
Young Fatal was riding to school one morning. It was intriguing to see a young person with disability go to school. He is from Garibekura, a village in the central district. The journey from his village to his school is about 20 minutes. He rides the bicycle to Nkujua and parks it. Then he joins his friends to walk to school. Fatal is in class 3.
Missy, me tinoha, me kumadi, me timti. School is my demand, Davin, me tinosa. and I dream that I say, make school. Yes, I
Fatal told me in Akan, initially, his parents did not take him to school until he convinced them he wanted to go to school. But even after that, he was still at home until a good Samaritan stepped in.
Until we school, no, we school, we be share now for a teacher for a saying.
He should have been in class 6 at 14 years.
One day I was coming from my town to school and I saw him at Garba, his village. And then I spoke to him and then I brought him to school personally.
He suffered the disability when he was young. His parents did not want him to go to school. The burden of caring for him was a headache. But young Fatal is doing great in school.
We have been doing a lot to support him, to encourage him to please come to the school. The school do buy him exercise book that he will need for the term. And then we also exempt him from physical activities in the school that is challenging. So sweeping, weeding, and cleaning of the compound, he doesn't take part. We don't actually allow him to take part.
His teachers have confidence in him. To ensure Fatal is comfortable in school, his head teacher is doing all within his powers to make him comfortable.
He is good. Fatal's performance in class is very good. Given the time he came to school and the pace at which he is absorbing or his understanding, I can see that he is very good. When he's given the needed support that he requires, he can perform marvelously well.
The Association of Persons with Disability in the district is not leaving Fatal to his fate. Through their share of the common fund, they are supporting him to complete school.
Those who are far and their schools are very far from their house, we decided to see whether they can ride a bicycle to the school. So we got 3 people who were given bicycles, 2 were given wheelchairs so that they can move from their place to the school.
Several other persons with disability in the district are receiving support to live decent lives. There are about 627 persons with disability in the Secretary Central District. Bright Nanafo, TV3, Nsuta.
And Fatal is indeed breaking barriers. In other news, the Dafiama Busie Isa district of the Upper West region is empowering women. A cashew project, which started with over 51,000 seedlings, has not gotten to the planting stage. Bright Nana Amfo reports 1,200 farmers are now planting between 1 and 2 acres of cashew trees.
They are excited. The excitement is because they will now be able to generate some income. In fact, nursing these seedlings is already paying.
She's very grateful to the government for bringing such an initiative. She said they have been hearing of cashew. It is very good for farmers. That is very beneficial. But they were wondering where to get the seedling to transplant. Now that the government have bring it to their doorstep, they will say thank you to the government because they know in future their children will not suffer.
The assembly got these women hooked onto government's Planting for Food and Rural Development program. Cashew is to be made a cash crop in the district. Several women earned some money nursing seedlings.
The tendency for the people from the north to drift down south to work under plantation crops is there. But now, they went down to work under cocoa, plantations, because the climate here is not conducive for cocoa. But here is the case, we have cashew, which can also do well in the north. So why the need going down south to work under cocoa if you also have your cocoa in the form of cashew?
After nursing, over 1,200 farmers have received seedlings to plant. 990 males and 210 females have been put on the program, and over 1,200 acres will be cultivated. Farmers, mostly women, had 1 acre each. They will not be left on their own. Agricultural extension officers will continue to educate women on right agronomy practices.
We are always monitoring, giving constant monitoring, ensuring that whatever is required, whatever requirement is in terms of technical support, we give to her.
Margaret has cultivated 2 acres. She has about 80 trees. Empowering herself is key in this whole endeavor. She'll be able to look after her family and support her husband. Getting irrigation is key to the survival of the trees in the savannah area. And so after getting funding for farming, the next headache is water to irrigate the farms. The land is mostly dry a greater part of a year, and these women have developed appropriate technology in using irrigation.
Keeping the cashew tree moist to allow it to grow well is very important. At this time of the year, we're told that there's some level of moisture in the soil, but when it gets very dry, this is what happens. This bottle is filled with water. It is perforated down there, filled with water, and then it is placed very close to the tree. And then after it's been done, some mulching is done. This is to keep the soil there moist all the time. We're told that for 3 days, the water in the bottle can continue dripping and keeping the cashew tree with some level of water until 3 days after that it can be changed.
Margaret will have to wait for between 4 and 5 years to harvest.
Aga kwampare ati di anapa huwaga ko dipa. From
this planting, it can help them further their children's education, because once they were there idling, the children will go to school to a certain level. Because you don't have the financial to support him or her to further education, the person will stop. But because of this family, they can further up their education.
Meanwhile, she's intercropping so she can harvest and sell while waiting for the cashew to mature. The Assembly says the cashew project is to support women.
By 2020, at least every peasant farmer should be able to have at least 2.5 acres of cashew. And this will complement the planting for food and jobs. The planting for food and jobs will give us food security and also create some jobs and some incomes. But the planting for export and rural development is going to guarantee their financial independence, if you like. And as I was saying, this year alone, 2018, the seedlings that we have distributed to farmers is about 51,000, which translated into about 1,200 acres. And as I've said, if everything being equal and they fruit very well, if you do the costing, it will be putting over 7 million Ghana cedis into the package of the various farmers.
The Assembly is committed to government's effort at providing jobs for the people, particularly women. The second phase will see 2,400 acres cultivated, and this is expected to provide jobs for hundreds of women in the district. Bright Nanafo, TV3, Busie.
And that's it for Mission. And this program was brought to you by Star Ghana with funding from UK Aid, Danida and the EU. Thanks so much for watching.
You're watching NEWS360, and let's go to the Volta region and talk about rice production. The Korean program on international agriculture, Ghana, COPIA, is piloting 3 new rice varieties in selected districts of the Volta region. 50 rice farmers from Kajibi, Jasikai, Hohoe, and Ho are participating in the program geared towards meeting local consumption demand.
Of the new rice varieties, Apran rice, was at the instance of the Crop Research Institute. 2,000 hectares of land is being cultivated in the 4 selected districts where the new variety is being piloted. The experimentation to last 5 years is at the cost of $50,000 per year.
We started last year in Zamlome in KJB, and we decided to extend it through KJB district, Jasikan district, Hohoe districts.
The KJB District Director of Agriculture, Akpalu Bisa, shared the experiences of some farmers after 2 years of the program.
For the people in this district, which is the typical upland rice that you have, that as you can see, can grow anywhere. Where you have maize, you have rice.
Director in charge of Crop Research Institute, Dr. Paul Kofi noted the new variety is adaptable to any of the country's climatic condition.
The varieties have been developed, but you need machinery to develop to prepare the land. You need machinery to harvest the rice at the appropriate time so that you can get the rice variety which meets the consumer's demand.
Ghana spends over $1 billion to import rice annually.
Still in the Volta region, the chiefs and people of Palime traditional area in the South Dai district and their ancestral home Palime Togo are to work together to promote the development of the two areas. A 10-member interim committee is already in place to come up with viable modalities.
The people of the traditional area are believed to have migrated to their present location from Noche in the Republic of Togo. This was to escape the tyranny of Togbe Agokoli, the king of Noche. They were said to have first settled in Palime, Togo, before a section including the Vagba, Pale, Todome, Chate, Hiama moved on to their present location in the Volta region. None of the 8 communities has a health facility. Road network are deplorable as women and children trek ice in search of potable water. In a bid to foster close ties and to promote development, indigenes of the two areas in Ghana and Togo have pledged to work together. The paramount chief of Vagba speaking about the modalities in the cross-border deal.
Both education, commerce or trade, then developing home structures over there so that truly we are one people.
The chief of Parliament Togo, Togbiho, pledged their preparedness to partner their Ghanaian counterparts for accelerated development. Chairman of Parliament Youth Association, Emmanuel Amwa, saw the move as a necessary socio-economic development agenda.
Moreover, we are trying to unite each other to help others to at least get a job to do. So I think the festival is okay.
Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakbo is a member of Parliament for South Day.
We have been divided by our colonial heritage. Now we have been calling on our chiefs to take progressive steps to make sure that they help government, central government, in bringing development to their respective areas. So if the Pali chiefs have decided to do this, I am in full support of what they do.
The new deal is expected to strengthen existing cultural exchange between the two Parliament traditional areas. The two areas are also considering a proposal for a common traditional festival dubbed Balikpakpa to chart progressive routes towards accelerated development.
The much-publicized BIM Concert 2018 came up Friday night, December 28 at the Fantasy Dome inside Trade Fair in Accra. 2015 BET Award winner Stoneboy, Morgan Heritage, Sarkodie Samini, among others, thrilled thousands of fans who thronged the trade fair. Naftali Ba has more.
It was indeed a wonderful night as every fan present felt the spirit of good reggae and dancehall vibes. The huge and devoted fan base at the auditorium went to watch screaming as the BIM Nation president made a spectacular appearance on stage. Stoneboy opened the concert with his back-to-back reggae composed hit songs. Nothing could stop the die-hard fans from singing along. Then came the introduction of Jamaican music group and Grammy Award winners Morgan Heritage. They gave out their best with great songs. The night also saw an amazing performance from a list of artists built for the concert. Sistefia, Medical, Kiddy, Kwesi Arthur, Trigmatic, among others, rocked the night. Rapper Sarkodie also made his mega appearance, acknowledging the hard works of Stoneboy in sending Ghana to the world with good music.
Because Stoneboy, don't let it stop right here. Spread the word and keep the good works out. God bless everybody.
Stoneboy's BIM concert was one of a kind with a lot of surprises popping out on the night. Samini, Adam and other industry players saluted Stonebwoy for an impressive showmanship.
He has to be proud of himself. I'm also proud of him for continuing to try to be better as a human being, better as an artist, and always trying to outdo himself. So
Stonebwoy wanted to fill the dome, and he definitely filled the dome to my expectation and to my satisfaction. So I like what I'm seeing so far. I like the ambience, I like the energy. Tell from the audience you see here that Stonebwoy obviously appeals to both the streets and the corporate, which is what we've always stood for. The crowd here tells you the kind of following that Stonebwoy has, and that alone is a plus to an artist's brand.
Amazed by the turn-up, the Beam Nation boss expressed his appreciation to his devoted fan base nationwide.
God for giving us life once again for today, and the people's reception is amazing. It gives me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness to continue to do songs that will make them laugh, songs that will bring emotions, and songs that will teach them and teach me in all as well.
Promised me that you were going to fill the dome, and you did it.
It's obvious. It's obvious. We said we're going to fill it. And to me, it wasn't about filling the dome. It's about gathering my people. You know what I mean? Asking my people to come with a hashtag as a challenge. And they came.
What statement with this concert are you putting out there to Ghanaians?
The statement, right? This concert has put out there. This statement is one that is not supposed to be said. This statement is an obvious statement. This statement is one that all eyes have beheld and have seen and are going to be witnesses of. So let this statement be said. So I'm forever grateful. The Beam concert 2018 was real. Big love. Next year again.
And captain of the Black Stars, Asamoah Gyan, and Togolese international Emmanuel Adebayo joined Stonebwoy and on stage to display their dancing skills.
It was a night of fun and dazzling performances. Asamoah Gyan and Emmanuel Adebayo mounted the stage to perform with the Beam Nation boss on their headbanger, Dirty Enemies. The whole fantasy dome went wild when Emmanuel Adebayo and Stonebwoy started displaying their killer dance moves. Adebayo's undying love for Stonebwoy's music is just unquestionable.
We saw you on stage dazzling some dance move. First of all, how do you call that dance?
There is no name for it. But you know, for me, it's a pleasure being here.
Absolutely.
I travel a lot. I have been around the world. But for me, supporting Stonebwoy is like supporting a brother. He's from Ghana. I'm from Togo. I grew up in between.
From Togo State.
Exactly. I grew up in between Togo and Ghana. So for me, being here today, all what I want to do in my career, what I wanted to do in my life is to help. And today, I think with my image, with my name, I have been doing the best. But I will keep doing, supporting my brothers, either from Togo, from Nigeria, from Ghana. It's always a pleasure for me to do so. So I'm very grateful and happy to be here today. It was quite hot inside, but you know I would do anything for Stonebwoy, and he knows it. So yeah.
The attendance was great. Thanks to all Ghanaians for the support. You know, this is the time we need to support our artist. He has done incredible for Ghana. He won BET Awards. He's taking the flag of Ghana high. You know, so the attendance was great. I feel very great to be here.
We saw you doing some dance moves on stage tonight. Are we going to see more of that?
You know how we do. You know how we do.
All right, we still bring you some excerpt from the Shatawale show as well, which was also held yesterday.
It was a concert to say thank you to fans for the...
All right, you're watching NEWS360. We are unable to bring you that. All right, I think the video is back now, so we can see some highlights from the Shatawale show.
The crowd thronged the Manchagbona Park in Jamestown expecting their icon to entertain them all night. It's 2:30 a.m. and Shatta Wale has still not mounted the stage. Unenthused about the long wait, this was their way of registering their displeasure. Not even the intervention of Shatta Wale's father, Shatta Kapo, could calm them down. Shatta Wale's entry energized the charged crowd.
All right, from the Beam Nation and Shatta Show, great excerpt on NEWS360. I'm sure you see more on some of our entertainment shows. My name is Issa Moni.
And I am Portia Gabo. Coming up is Music